Well, hello everyone. This is Wilson Cole here with Adams, Evans, and Ross, Backdoor Hires and Eloc Global Partners. And we are now in probably, I guess, week 6 or 7 of this pandemic. And I just wanted to give everybody the weekly update on what we're seeing as of 4/27/2020. Last week we had some weird anomalies, and I have to think that it's probably because of the PPP money that's coming through. But I know a couple of our clients are several $100,000 better off because there were accounts that had been paying $5,000 or $10,000 a month, called and said, "Gee, would your client take a 10% discount or 15% discount if we paid it all in full?" We took the offers back to the clients, and the clients went ahead and accepted them. And these were on debts that they had been paying over the last 3 to 6 months prior to this pandemic. And all of a sudden, they were paying several $100,000 in past due debt. So I do think some of the PPP money is now hitting the streets. The government has just approved and signed off on the second round. How long it lasts is anybody's guess. I do know that one of our companies, Adams, Evans, and Ross, we had received PPP funds. I know some of our clients are starting to reach it or receive them, not necessarily en masse, but they are starting to pay. The one thing that we are seeing some movement on now is the reverberation up all employment sectors. Hospitality is just absolutely on life support. Very little activity going on there. As these states start to reopen, we do expect as restaurants start to unshutter, they'll start seeing cash flow. We will start receiving some of those funds in there. Healthcare, we're starting to see some hospitals come in to collections, but they're going to be kind of the second tier community. I say second tier, the smaller community hospitals. We are also still seeing some logistics companies come in. Now, one of the things that we're finding with logistics and transportation companies is the balances that some of our clients are owed on this is just absolutely astonishing. I mean, we're talking $500,000, $750,000 type debt. The only way that I would extend out those type of funds to anyone is to become a secured creditor. And one thing I suggest to everyone, if you want to learn how to become a secured creditor, we did a webinar years ago that I can give you a link to it, and it walks you through. A secured creditor doesn't ensure that you will get paid, but you are light years ahead of the unsecured debtors. And staffing, a lot of people think, well, it's payroll. No, most bankruptcy courts that we run into, there's always an exception, but most of it is a service. It is not, in essence, payroll. If you're doing direct payrolling, I think you may have a better argument, and the attorneys can argue that. But on staffing, it is a service, and it does not typically get priority that we see. So if you are going to loan out significant funds, I mean, just be smart, be intelligent about it. If you use a funding company, I can assure you that funding company has a UCC-1 filing on your staffing firm. And you definitely want to make sure that you do the same thing to your clients. And everybody's point of pain is different. My recommendation is typically anything above what would really hurt if you lost, which for most staffing firms is about 20 grand, maybe 50 grand. But if you're loaning out, in essence, a pretty nice house to a client, you want to make sure that you're a secured creditor. Hopefully, we will start seeing some movement in the hospitality industry on these debtors. As I said, the medical industry, the second tier medical industry is coming in for collections. They are still paying though. In light industrial is coming in at about the same rate. And there again, they are still paying. One of the things outside of doing credit checks on all of your existing clients is know where your client's position was prior to this pandemic. If they were in pretty good shape, then they're going to probably survive. There's always going to be exceptions. And they could still continue to be a decent client for you. But if they were paying their bills poorly in November, December, early January, those are the ones, whether you utilize us, utilize anyone else, you definitely want to escalate on. So the biggest thing is just stay on top of those debts and don't extend out more credit than what you're willing to lose. And once you start getting into the stratosphere of receivables, and everybody's opinion's different, but $20,000 to $50,000, you really need to become a secured creditor. That is the update for April 27th, 2020. And if anybody needs me, you can reach me at 800-452-5287. I'm at extension 6578, or you can shoot me an email, wilson@aercollections.com. Thank you guys. Be safe.